But coming towards the point of good morning, I can say that जीवन में हमेशा जो चाहिए होता है वो नहीं मिलता है.
Us, bhai, us.
So guys, lunch done, lectures done. Wants to go home, waiting for someone. Don't wait too much guys, as India has already won. And we are also heading towards our next technical session and probably the last technical session of the day. I, Vishakha Mangnani,
And I, Dhruv Kataria.
are the MOCs, Master of Ceremony, for this technical session. So Dhruv, have you ever heard about the 3 golden principles of accounting?
Of course, Vishakha. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Debit the receiver, credit the giver. Debit the assets, credit the liabilities.
So, क्या बोलती पब्लिक? लॉक कर दिया जाए?
Of course.
7 करोड़ नहीं मिलने वाले because these are the principles of GAAP. But what about accounting 2.0?
So let us move forward with our technical session, Accounting, a way ahead in global scenario. And to begin with, I would like to request MCM of Vikasa, Chris Shah, to escort
Miss CA Abhinav Malavya sir, MCM Vikasa Ahmedabad. I would request CA Sunil Sanghvi sir to kindly present memento to our MCM member, CA Abhinav Malavya sir. Now I would request all the paper presenters for this technical session to please be on the dais. Please give a huge round of applause for our paper presenter, Ms. Ishita Rajesh Bhai Shah, Ms. Sejal Basan Pachisia, Ms. Hitika Anil Asnani. Please give a huge round of applause to our paper presenter for this session. Now I would request our MCA member, Mr. Chris Shah, to kindly felicitate all the paper presenters.
Now, I would request our session chairman, CA Kaushik sir, to come on the dais, please. CA Kaushik sir is very renowned face in our CA fraternity, as he is one of the most senior partner in pan-India famous CA firm Manu Bhai and Shah LLP based out of Ahmedabad. Give a round of applause, please. Now, I would request our MCA member to felicitate CA Kaushik sir.
I would like CA Rinkesh sir to kindly felicitate our session chairman, CA Kaushik Patel sir.
MCM दोनों.
Now, I would like to request CA Abhinav sir and Chris Shah to kindly felicitate our paper presenter for this technical session. Our first paper presenter, Ms. Ishita Rajesh Bhai Shah. Our next paper presenter is Ms. Sejal Basan Pachisia. Our next paper presenter is Ms. Hitika Anil Asnani.
Let us acknowledge our jury for the session, CA Gyan Pipara sir and CA Ravi Jain sir.
In early days, with ledger and ink, business grew, began to think.
Simple records, clear and complete. Then came reforms, a modern tweak.
Gap paved the way, bringing order and form. Ensuring compliance became the new norm.
With this zeal, let's call our first paper presenter, Ms. Ishita Rajesh Bhai Shah, to present their views on the topic financial reporting from local to global.
Hello. Yes, sir. Hello.
Yes, so my dear friends, by the time Ishita starts this session, I would request those who are sitting and occupying the seats here, they can just call their friends who are outside, might be roaming here and there. This is a meaningful international conference going on for all of you. So requesting all to please contact your friends and request them to gather back to this hall. Thank you so much. Ishita, please continue.
Thank you. Hey, I'm losing. Jai Jinendra, everyone. A very good afternoon, dignitaries, jury members, and my fellow future chartered accountants. I, Ishita Shah, and I'm really honored and privileged to be here in the commercial capital of West, the Manchester of India, the city of Ahmedabad. Our journey for next 10 minutes will revolve around the topic of financial reporting, local to global. So let's just begin with the word financial reporting. The financial reporting helps us in the financial reporting framework, where it helps stakeholders, investors, and other users of financial statement to take informed decisions. As we all know, that finances and economy are the heart of any business. We often have come across the word accounting standard in our curriculum. But what exactly the accounting standards are? Accounting standards are set of principles that helps in recognition, measurement, presentation and disclosure of any accounting transaction. It helps in the enhancement of the financial statements. अभी ये तो आपने सुना ही होगा कि जैसे हर सिक्के के दो पहलू होते हैं, everything has its own pros and cons. So here comes the limitations of accounting standards, where while India was gearing up toward the aggressive globalization, targeting to increase its economic growth, accounting standards were not able to create uniformity in the financial framework reporting, as the scope of accounting standard was limited as it does not include the effects of real-time process. complex financial instruments, and emerging digital economy. Apart from this, it also deprives the calculations of group restructuring, business recognition, demergers, mergers, and etc. Therefore, to overcome the limitations and improve the degree of uniformity, the emergence of global standards happened in India. As let's go globally and first talk about global standards, IFRS. International Financial Reporting Standards. They are issued by International Accounting Standards Board 2001, where the year towards the global summit, where Australia, Hong Kong, China, Korea were adopting IFRS, where India announced its adoption in the year 2016. And even till today, 190 countries are using global reporting standards. But have you exactly thought ever that what was the exact need of bringing such a headache where we will know that our work was about to get doubled और हमारे बचपन के 11th और 12th के accounting standards ही change होने वाले थे. So, as we step into the modern era, where there was increase in cross-border transaction, where there was increase in international operation and subsidiaries around the globe, where there was increase, our investors, our FIIs were diversifying their portfolios, and here comes, and such a scenario gave an alarming bell to introduce the need and acceptance of global standards. अभी आप बोलोगे कि इशिता हिस्ट्री की इतनी बड़ी बातें तो सुन ली, पर ये तो बताओ कि इसमें हमारा फायदा क्या है? So that brings us to the benefits of accounting standards, where accounting standards increases the consistency in the accounting principle. It increases transparency and accuracy in the uses of financial statements. It increases the accountability and efficiency in the uses of financial statements. And even it decreases the gap between the uniformity. Now first, let us come as how India adopted IFRS. Well, first and foremost, India has not adopted IFRS. It has converged IFRS as Indian accounting standards. Well, convergence, अभी आप फिर से सोचोगे कि ये convergence कुछ नया सा लग रहा है, but हमारे इंडियन पेरेंट्स ने हमें बचपन से ही सिखाया है कि किसी की अच्छी आदतों को एक्सेप्ट करो और किसी की बुरी आदतों को नजरअंदाज कर दो. That means India has converged Indian accounting standards, keeping its challenges in mind and developed its own standards. Well, it's all about Indian accounting standard is nothing but combination of IFRS plus carves in minus carves out. Well, have you ever think that what was the exact challenges that India faced rather than adopting in the adoption or in the convergence of the accounting standards? Where if India would have adopted IFRS, it would have been a major amendments in the regulations like SEBI, Companies Act, etc. Even the tax authorities would have faced n number of challenges in the calculation of tax liability. In a country like India, where there was lack of skilled and trained resources to implement the IFRS was the biggest task. The most burning point was that the IFRS used fair value method, whereas the accounting standards used cost method. This scenario gave the divergence and volatility in the financial market. The last one is the burden of compliance would increase on medium and small enterprises. सुनने में तो ये लग ही रहा है कि बहुत ही डिफिकल्ट टास्क होगा, पर आपको तो पता ही है कि वो प्यार ही क्या, सॉरी, आपको तो पता ही होगा कि वो प्यार ही क्या जो आपको गम ना दे, और वो डिग्री ही क्या जो आपको अटेम्प्ट्स ना दे। And therefore, keeping all this thing into the mind, India converged IFRS rather than adopting it. Now let's see the roadmap of implementation of IFRS, Indian Accounting Standards, where you can see that for the mandatory basis, the phase 1 started from 1st April 2016, where the phase 2 started from 1st April 2017, where for the NBFCs, the phase 1 started from 1st April 2018 and the phase 2 started from 1st April 2019. अभी बहुत ही बातें कर ली हमने प्लानिंग, एग्जीक्यूशन, हिस्ट्री, इम्प्लीमेंटेशन के बारे में, पर अब ये भी तो जान ले कि इसकी एक्चुअल इम्पैक्ट क्या थी हमारे इंडस्ट्री स्टैंडर्ड्स पे। So here comes the impact of Indian accounting standards on industry sectors. Well, सोचने में तो लग ही रहा कि बहुत ही क्रूशियल चीज रही होगी, as it changed the ideology, thought process and accounting principles of Indian company. As you can see, there was 3.5% decline in net income reported for the year 31st March 2016, where the sectors such as manufacturing, power, mining, automobile reported increase in net income, whereas the sectors like metals, infrastructure, retail, consumables, etc. reported a decrease in net income, increase in net income. Well, the major leading factor for the difference were the implication of taxes, the calculation of business combination, depreciation, employee benefit expense, recognition of financial instruments. While you can also notice that there was increase in equity portion by 5.2% as on 31st March 2016. That was regardlessly due to the changes in valuation of PPE as the fair value method, recognition of proposed dividend and financial instruments. Therefore, we can see that the transition from accounting standard to Indian accounting standard was all about the title line of Star Plus channel, Rishta Wahi, Soch Nahi. Thank you all from my side. Thank you everyone for your patient listening. Thank you Vikas Ahmedabad. Thank you my family and friends. Jai Jinendra.
Wow, what an informative session that was. Like, I'm truly excited to dive into the rich culture of accounting now, yaar.
True.
So, moving forward, can anyone from the audience tell me what is offshore accounting?
Oh please do. Everybody be like, जीवन में इतना शोर है, offshore कहाँ से बताएंगे? So, in order to blow your mind, let's call upon our next paper presenter on the dais, Ms. Sejal Basan Pachisia, to guide us through effect of offshore and outsource in the field of accounting. Please give a huge round of applause to our paper presenter.
Peter Drucker once said that do what you do the best and outsource the rest. Namaste Ahmedabad. કેટલી સારું વાત કહી છે ને. So, my name is Sejal Pachisia. I am a CA final student from Surat, Gujarat. Outsource or offshore? नाम तो सुना ही होगा, but what does it really mean? Outsource, as the word suggests, means sourcing your task outdoors. You delegate your responsibilities to a third party. Offshore, on the other hand, takes this delegation overseas. So guys, this is basically अपना काम किसी और को देना. क्या सही चीज है ना? I really wish that I could outsource my direct tax paper or my Mondays. Well, you know, offshoring and outsourcing are not novelties in the accounting world. They are like fashion trends, you know, neon and flares. Not really new, but very in right now. So, this is the reaction of firms when they get to know that they can literally delegate their non-core activities. Mogambo khush hua. The benefit of outsourcing is that you get to reduce the cost, you get to share your responsibilities, and at the same time, there is 24 hours productivity because देखो, अगर आप इंडिया में काम कर रहे हो और जिसको आपने आउटसोर्स किया है वो इंडिया के बाहर काम कर रहे हैं, तो 12 घंटे आपने इंडिया में काम किया और बाकी के 12 घंटे अगर टाइम जोन अलग है तो वहां पे काम हो गया. सो दैट इज ओवर द क्लॉक प्रोडक्टिविटी. सो ये तो बहुत ही बढ़िया चीज है, बट बोलते हैं ना चैलेंजेस तो हर चीज में होती ही है. सो देयर आर सम नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट्स एज वेल. नंबर 1, client perception. It is that when you tell your clients that, or when they get to know that their financial experts are giving their work for delegation offshore, their sensitive accounting information to some other country, then what would be their reaction? They, see, some may be skeptical, whereas others may be open to it. But it is not very sure that how the client would react. Next negative implication is quality concerns and confidentiality. See, trust is the most important thing in today's generation. And people don't trust others easily. Now, trusting someone with their sensitive accounting information is a big task. And on top of it, you know, people are very cautious about their finances. The third disadvantage is that communication and relationship building. Communication is a blessing, but also a curse in disguise. Because some local languages are very complex, and it is not easy to, you know, communicate with them. Then adds on the time zone differences. Like, can you imagine when will we keep the meetings? वहाँ पे रात है तो यहाँ पे सुबह है, वहाँ पे सुबह है, यहाँ पे रात है. So that's a huge problem. Okay, motivation alert. See, challenges तो life में होंगी, but that what makes life interesting, right? How to overcome those challenges makes life meaningful. So let's see that how we can overcome these negative impacts. Before that, एक question पूछना है. How many of you feel कि आज की जिंदगी में किसी पे भरोसा तो नहीं कर सकते? So like a lot of you. So now let's move on to how to overcome these challenges. Number 1, build confidence. Confidence is the key in today's generation. You need to build the client's confidence. उन्हें विश्वास दिलाओ that अगर that quality is the king. अगर उन्होंने तुम्हें काम दिया और तुमने किसी को delegate किया है, तो you have ensured all the quality controls. You will conduct regular audits and you will make sure that everything will be on point. Next thing which we can do is take care of the security. कभी भी meeting कर रहे हो, if you are sharing the data, then always use secured networks and don't forget to enter into non-disclosure agreements with the client. Third is transparency. Transparency is very important, and you need to also tell them that how outsourcing and offshoring is impacting social and economic life of India. Because see, एक तरफ अगर हम outsource कर रहे हैं, तो on the other hand, job layoffs भी तो हो रहे हैं. But I feel कि India के लिए this is an advantage because many countries wants to outsource their work in India, so it rather creates jobs. Now I'm going to tell you a secret. So the thing is, I'm going to tell you what is the foundation of a good relationship. So let's learn that, right? And relationship मतलब professional relationship, but real life में भी काम तो आ ही जाएगा. So let's understand what is the foundation of a good relationship. Number 1 is communication. See, communication is the key to anything, like literally anything. You need to keep your communication clear and concise. You need to, tell them everything. Take frequent updates and tell them that what are your, take frequent updates and give them feedbacks as well at that time itself. And what else we can do is, we need to build their trust. Trust आज की ज़िंदगी में बहुत important है. Gain their confidence and make sure that they realize that गलत हाथों में काम नहीं जा रहा है. Third is, you need to build a robust global team. It is very important to build a global robust team because teamwork makes the dream work. So, see what we can do is, जो भी आपकी टीम है, उनको ट्रेन करो कि कल्चरल डिफरेंसेस से कैसे डील करना है. उनको ट्रेन करो कि टीम बिल्डिंग कैसे करनी है. एंड मेक श्योर दैट यू हैव पीपल इन टीम जो बैलेंस शीट को 3 अलग-अलग लैंग्वेजेस में बोल सके, बिकॉज दैट इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. सो व्हाट डू यू थिंक इज गोइंग टू बी द फ्यूचर ऑफ आउटसोर्सिंग और ऑफशोरिंग? Future of outsourcing and offshoring is that it is the ongoing trend and customer की preferences भी अभी यही हो रही है that customers want something that is tech savvy. एक बटन दबाया काम हो गया, and this is what outsourcing and offshoring are working on. And third thing is that we need to also take into picture sustainability. Sustainability is today's trend. Everybody wants everything to be sustainable. तो ये बिजनेस मॉडल भी सस्टेनेबल होना चाहिए. एंड नाउ आई वुड लाइक टू समराइज माय कंटेंट. चलो क्वेश्चन आंसर फॉर्मेट में करते हैं समराइज. सो नंबर 1 क्वेश्चन इज, व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन आउटसोर्सिंग एंड ऑफशोरिंग? आउटसोर्सिंग मतलब कि we are delegating our responsibilities to third party. They can be local as well as global. Offshoring takes this delegation overseas. Advantages भी है, disadvantages भी है, but this is certainly going to be an ongoing trend. Because आजकल 2 चीजें important है, पैसा और time, and this is saving both of them. But make sure, really make sure you conduct quality controls. Make sure that you are doing everything in a secured way. Because client is God for everyone. And I am pretty sure कि कल के मैच के बाद तो पूरी दुनिया की टीम्स को इंडियन प्लेयर्स भी आउटसोर्स करने का मन हो रहा होगा. So thank you so much Ahmedabad. Thank you for being a patient listener.
Goodness, Vishaka, I am really amazed by the way she presented, yaar. Acha, Vishaka, by the way, tell me, what do you do at your nearest kirana store? Paytm or phone pay?
I never do such kind of things. I simply say, भैया खाते में डाल देना ना.
What's that khata?
अरे that red book of records in which the person name is written and उधार कितना लिया है.
Does a company do the same?
Never. How many khatas they will carry with themselves?
Exactly. There's the need of GAAP and IFRS. So without wasting any of our time, let's welcome Ms. Hitika Anil Asnani to share their views on the last technical topic of the day, Indian bookkeeping journey from GAAP to IFRS. Give her a huge round of applause, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Hitika Asnani. I hope you all are doing well today. Thank you for joining me to discuss an important topic, Indian financial landscape. The journey of Indian bookkeeping from IGAP to IFRS and NDS. This transition is not just about numbers. It's about alignment with global standards, enhancement of transparency, and gaining investors' confidence. So let's dive in and begin with IGAP. Imagine IGAP as old school and traditional form of accounting, just like our grandmother's handwritten recipe. It worked well, but it has its own limitation, especially in rapidly globalizing world. So, let's have a look on features of IGAP. First is historical cost basis. Under IGAP, financial statements are valued as per their original purchase cost. Imagine having a ticket of Indian cinema back in 1990s. Nostalgic, right? But it does not reflect the original picture. Next feature is legal form over substance. It's like focusing on packaging rather than its product. Next we have lesser focus on fair value. IGAP put more focus on historical cost basis to prevent from market volatility. Now, let's have a look on timeline of IGAP from pre-77 to 2010, general development and implementation of 32 accounting standards aiming to increase consistency and quality of financial reporting. Now, the question may arise, why do we need this transition? In one word, globalization. As India's economic engagement grew globally, the need for our accounting standards to be more comparable across the boundaries become crucial. Another reason is gaining investors' confidence. As enhanced transparency and reliability on financial information is crucial to retain and attract investors. Now, key phases and milestone of Ind AS. In 2007, MCA announced its plan to converge Indian accounting standards with IFRS. In 2010, our ICAI came with first set of converged standards known as Ind AS. In 2011, MCA notifies 35 Ind AS, however, implementation get deferred. In 2015, mandatory implementation for certain group of companies began. It was marked as a new era in Indian financial reporting. Now, key features of Ind AS. First is convergence with IFRS. Ind AS are significantly converged with IFRS, incorporating best practical knowledge. Another feature is minor carve-outs. Certain modifications to cater Indian legal and economic environment. It's like adding pinch of salt as per our taste. Now, major differences from IGAP. First is fair value measurement. Ind AS valued its transaction on fair value basis, which give accurate financial position of any entity. Next is give emphasis to economic substance rather than legal form. It's like give importance to the content of book rather than focusing on its page cover. Next we have revenue recognition. Under IGAP, revenue is recognized on principle of transfer of control and not as and when the good left the warehouse. Now, practical implications on business. First is operational changes. Business need to update their accounting software and processes. Also, they need to invest in their training and development costs for financial and accounting personnel. Next is financial impact. As transition came with many changes, this may significantly affect the financial position and performance of a company. Also, accounting treatment may also bring tax implications, which requires tax planning and strategy. Next is stakeholders communication. Enhanced communication with stakeholders and investors is required to make them understand the impact of financial statement on our Next is ensuring compliance with both Indian financial regulatory framework and global standards. Now, let's talk about how India is benefited to our companies and to our economy. Let's talk about our companies. First is it enhances comparability. Then it gave access to capital as investors find India's compliant financial statements more relevant and transparent. This gave access to global capital. Next is it increased confidence among investors as it is more transparent and relevant. Now, benefit to economy. First benefit is foreign investment. By complying with converse standards, company can directly attract foreign direct investments, which result in economic growth. Economic growth is none other than harmonization between accounting standards and global financial statements. Now, let's have some real life example. First, we have example of Infosys Limited. Thank you, guys. First, we have example of Infosys Limited. Infosys Limited adopted fair value measurement for its financial instrument, which leading to more accurate reporting. Next, we have example of Tata Motors. After adoption of Ind AS, Tata Motors reported a hike in their net income by approximately 2,500 crore rupees. Next, we have example of Wipro Limited. Wipro Limited adopted revenue recognition based on the transfer of control principle, which resulted in more accurate and predictable pattern of revenue recognition. Then we have future outlook. India should focus on continued alignment with global standard. It should also focus on technological advancement like use of AI tools, automations, and blockchain management. It should also focus on sustainability by emphasizing ESG reporting. Finally, I would like to conclude by saying this transition brings significant changes in our financial reporting. Also, this showcases India's commitment toward transparency, comparability, and global integration. Now, this is the summarized timeline of IGAP to India's. Thank you all for being such a good audience. Thank you, ICAI Ahmedabad, to giving me this opportunity. Thank you. नीचे जाओ ना.
Indian bookkeeping system has evolved and transformed.
Now, I would like to request CA Abhinav Malavya sir to kindly escort our session chairman CA Kaushik Patel sir to the dais, and I would like to request CA Kaushik Patel sir to lend us a word on this session.
Good afternoon, friends. Still empty chairs are there, but I think the attendance is also not encouraging in the sense that in the Sunday afternoon, in this beautiful atmosphere, I think the students are studying and talking about the accounting in global scenario. Anyway, good gathering. I had also a very good experience of reaching to this venue. After a long journey, there was some misunderstanding about the change of venue. But anyway, with the help of Rinkesh Bhai, I could make it to be here amongst you. working and talking to the, working among the students and talking with them is always encouraging for me at this age. In fact, I feel myself younger when I come to the students and talk to them. So ICAI really deserves compliments for organizing the students' conference on such a big scale. So kudos to the ICAI and the students who have made this conference a great success. Before I go to the subject, let me start with an interesting anecdote about an Indian accountant. Once an Indian accountant was traveling abroad, and fortunately, he got a company of the scientist Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein thought that the journey is long, time is going to be very significant, so let us make the journey interesting. So he asked the fellow colleague, passenger who was an accountant, Indian accountant, that let us play a question-answer session. He said that I will ask you a question, and if you do not give a correct answer, you will pay me $5. And if you ask me a question, and if I am wrong, I will pay you $500. Accountant said, fine, nice, good. So let us start the game. Einstein said that let me first ask you a question. So he asked the accountant that how far is the distance between Earth and Moon? Naturally, accountant was not aware. So he put his hand in the pocket and gave $5 to the Einstein. Fine. Subsequently, the turn came of the Einstein. An accountant asked me, sir, what is that which goes to the hill with 3 legs and comes back with 4 legs? Einstein, with all his scientific knowledge, he could not make the answer or could not give the answer. What happened? He also puts his hand in the pocket and gave $500 to the accountant. So now accountant says, sir, it is now my turn to ask you a question. But Einstein said, wait, gentlemen. First, let you give me the answer that what is that which going to the hill with 3 and comes back with the 4 legs. The accountant immediately, without speaking anything, puts his hand in the pocket and gave $5 note to the Einstein and puts the matter to an end. So moral of the story is that never enter into any question-answer matter for an Indian accountant who is so smart and intelligent. So coming to the subject, I think interesting topic on accounting, a way ahead of future in the global scenario. So for the today's talk, I would take you some interesting part in the past, some interesting part what is at present, and what is the likely scenario in future. First of all, what is accounting? I think that needs to be understood. Of course, in general terminology, we all practice in accounting field. But at least to start with the basic understanding, what is an accounting? So it's a process of recording the financial transaction in a business. One would ask, why only business? Even in any matter or in any organization which is not carrying on business, but when financial transaction takes place, for example, charitable trust, etc., there also the question of accounting, the accounting transaction arises. So what involves in accounting? So it is summarizing, analyzing, and reporting the transaction in a proper form to various people like authorities, owners, regulators, etc. What is the important function of an accountant? Function of an accountant is nowadays strategic planning, external compliance. Fundraising is also now becoming a very important part of the function of an accountant. And ultimately, now we see that accountants are also involved in the operation and management. So the role of accountant, which was in earlier days merely a bookkeeping, has significantly changed. Something about the past. I think one of the participants talked about transition from AS to IGAP, IGAP to Ind AS. But beyond that also, when I started my articleship, and when what we were doing the audit, there were the ledger accounts, a red color book where accountant used to keep, and the principle followed was credit what comes in, debit what goes out. So that was the simple principle being followed for keeping the books of accounts. First time in the Indian history, it was Chanakya who brought the authoritative pronouncement on accounting. Of course, he named it as an Arthashastra and Chanakya Niti, but ultimately, it is the pioneer of accounting in our Indian context. But with the invention of money and currency, the significant role of accounting has increased. The accountants in the olden days, what were they called? Munim, Mehtaji, etc. So that was the designation which was given to the accountant at that time. Now, thereafter the scenario changed, and the invention of machines, calculators, computers, it came into existence. And with this, the manner and method of accounting significantly went a change. Accounting became very fast and accurate. Most particularly, a specialized class of the people took charge of the function of accounting. In our time, chartered accountants, majority of the chartered accountants after qualifying used to go for practice. Many of them did not prefer to go for an accounting job. But accounting job was when carried out by a chartered accountant, the designation changed from Munim and Mehtaji to Chief Account Officer, Account Manager, etc., and even Chief Finance Officer. So this is the present day scenario. And now, the accounting standards are unified, accounting standards are notified, and it has took a significant change and turn. Thereafter, significant development take place when information technology came into existence and beginning of digital accounting started. The advantages which the people got was accurate and fast accounting. Important thing is the recording of voluminous and complex transactions become very easy. We see now number of financial instruments, complex financial instruments are being coming into finance field. And accounting of such transaction, fintech, then information technology related services, medical services, various instruments. So all these things now has become easy on account of the modern use of modern computers. It has also made it possible speedy processing of data. We see now companies are finalizing their balance sheet within week or even 10 to 15 days from the end of the financial year. We will see Infosys, TCS, etc. They are finalizing their accounts by 10th or 15th of the end of the quarter or end of the financial year. An important development which has taken place, and I think the last speaker which dealt with this subject was, second speaker was about the offshores of the accounting, outsourcing of the accounting. So in our firm also, we are doing this type of activity on a large scale. And I think that outsourcing of accounting and tax return work has played a significant part in the present accounting situation. Coming to the future. So this is what it is. So we have the IGAP, we have the INDES, we have the digital accounting. The question comes, now what lies in the future? I think that's a matter which needs to be considered and for which I will have to deal with something in detail. The global accounting standard question is, before we go to the accounting aspect, first let us have an overview of what is the present global scenario so far as accounting is concerned. Some of the important points to be considered. One is the fast changing technology, and I think that has been being debated significantly nowadays. AI, RPA, blockchain, etc. So that is impacting all aspects of our life, and accounting is not an exception to it. Second is WTO regime, World Trade Organization, that has broken the barriers of trade between the countries, amongst the countries, and as a result of which the movement of capital has become faster. Another important development in the global scenario to be considered is the sharing of information of the person, financial transaction between the countries is become now transparent. So that has made the evasion of taxation and crime more difficult. And lastly, adoption of IFRS and global accounting standard within which now we have to work and operate. So this is the overall global scenario so far as accounting is concerned. Coming to Indian, so within this international or global scenario, the India's position also is very important and worth considering. What is the India's position? India is now being considered as the most attractive investment destination. More and more foreign investment, FDI, is coming to India in various forms. The challenge what it has posed is that the investor is carrying out a very stringent and comprehensive due diligence of the entity which it proposes to take over or merge, etc. And what is required for that is the expectation of transparency in the financial reporting. So, with this global scenario and Indian accounting aspect, we have to consider that what lies in future so far as accounting is concerned. According to me, so far as global and Indian scenario in respect of accounting is concerned, three aspects needs to be considered. One is impact of technology. Second is forensic accounting, that's a new concept. And third is reporting on ESG, environment, social sustainability, and governance. Coming to the impact of technology, I think that has been significantly debated. I would just briefly touch upon the impact of the various technology which are now being used or which is coming into existence. First is artificial intelligence. It has taken over the routine tasks which are being now automated, and analysis of the large data has become very easy to detect the anomalies in the data and making prediction for the future. Robot process automation, RPA. It's not a robot, but it is computer-coded software program that has replaced the human performing the repetitive task, cross-functional and cross-application macros. Blockchain technology, it is providing secure and transparent way to record the transaction and revolutionizing the financial reporting. Cloud computing, it provides the real-time access to the financial data, facilitating the remote work and collaborating and offering automatic updates and improved security. Because of this, the outsourcing work has become very easy. And lastly, impact of technology is the data analytics tool which are available, which help in analyzing the complex and voluminous data. Predictive analytics help in forecasting risk management and forecasting the company's future. Coming to the aspect of forensic accounting. Forensic accounting is not such an accounting work. It is more of an investigative nature. The simple definition which is being given is that it is gathering and evaluation of the evidence for what purpose? To report by a professional about the findings before a competent authority. So, forensic accounting does not require the accounting of any such transaction, but it requires the review of facts and evidence gathering, which helps in reporting by a professional person who is engaged to carry out certain investigation before a regulator or any person who has engaged him. What is the role of forensic accountant? Is generally it's an investigation which can be both criminal or legal, preparation and review of the evidences which he gathers. He prepares the report for the professional to which he is being given the work, giving oral evidences before the court of law, expert determination, arbitration, mediation and alternatives, and dispute resolution. So forensic accounting is the another future for all of the accountants. And the last aspect of the future is reporting on ESG. Sustainability reporting is now the present day word. And I think in the corporate field, this is being now used very frequently. Sustainability reporting, what is it? It's a overview of the company's economic, environmental, and social impact caused by its everyday. Every business has to have a sustainable reporting to ensure the owners, the investors, and the regulator that there is a sustainability program, report, system within the organization. How the ESG reporting is helpful or advantageous to an entity. First is customer satisfaction. Any person nowadays who deals with the company wants a satisfaction that company has a proper system of ESG within itself. Similarly, suppliers who are supplying the goods to the company, they are also looking into a company which is compliant of ESG requirement. Provides accountability. ESG reporting, if you see, it covers all various aspects of the operations of the company, and therefore it ensures the outsiders that the company is in compliance of the regulatory requirement. Important point is the employee satisfaction and retention. Every person would like to work in a company which has a sustainable future, and therefore ESG is a tool whereby company can attract the right type of people and retain them. And ultimately, in this competitive age, the entity or the company has to demonstrate its progress, and that progress can be demonstrated by ESG reporting. So ESG reporting is now going to be the future so far as accounting is concerned. What is the legal requirement so far as our country is concerned? I don't know whether you are aware or not, but for all listed companies, Security and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, has mandated for those companies with a market capitalization of first 1,000 company with market capitalization as on March 31 to give a ESG report that is called Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting, BRSR, and which is made effective from financial year 22-23. So BRSR is a form of ESG reporting which is mandatory for all the listed companies with a market, first listed company with a market capitalization. Second is, what is BRSR reporting? It requires the systematic disclosure on ESG performance by a company against 9 principles of National Guidance on Responsible Business Conduct 2018. 9 principles of the National Guidelines on Responsible Business Conduct 2018. Briefly, it is called NGRBC. These principles have been derived from international and national bodies. Reporting under NGRBC is divided into 2 main aspects, essential and leadership. Essential indicators, they are mandatory, while leadership indicators, they are not mandatory. So this is briefly about the ESG and the future accounting in respect thereof. So having understood all these aspects, ultimately we have also to consider the challenges which are lying in respect of all these aspects. What are the challenges? First is, when technology is being used in such a large number and data is transmitted from one country to another, the question of cyber security is very important. So it will have to be ensured that cyber security measures are being taken by the company for the data protection. Second challenge which I see is availability of skilled human power. Many of people will be having experience to deal with the complex issues which may arise from the use of technology in the accounting world. So that type of training, education model will have to be developed. Another important aspect is the ethics and corporate governance. Regulators will be making the law to ensure that the companies are in compliance, data transmitting from one country to another, which law will be applicable at what point of time, all these things will be there. And in that context, ethics and corporate governance will be going to an important part. But ultimately, one thing is to be remembered, that is the technology going to replace the human brain or not? The answer would be no, certainly no, because ultimately there is no substitute to the human brain to deal with the complex situation, and the human brain have been evolved over a number of years. So this technology cannot take the substitute, cannot be the substitute of this human brain and human intelligence. So lastly, what is the key takeaway for all of us? We will have to embrace technology, equip ourselves to know what are the technologies, how best use it can be made. We have to be compliant of the regulatory requirements. We will have to focus on sustainability. We will have to ensure the data security and take the steps for cyber security, and ultimately expanding our skill of professionals. Conclude by saying and quoting author Adam Grant in his book, Think Again, what he has said: listen to the ideas that makes you think hard. Listen to the ideas that make you think hard, not just opinions that makes you feel good. So thank you very much. Before I conclude, let me conclude with a small, interesting minutes, I think, which was published in our Chartered Accountant Journal way back in 1973 when I joined the articleship, but it is still relevant. And I think it is very interesting. It reads like this: this is not an advertisement for any bed sheet, BED, SHEET, but it's a minutes of the discussion on balance sheet. What was the meeting? That accountants all over the world, they met in the desert of Rajasthan, and the topic of discussion was, is wife an asset or a liability? Is wife an asset or a liability? What were the ideas presented? Many delegates opposed the idea of ever considering to put their wives on the asset side. Of course, they were influenced by their personal experience. Thereupon, one wise accountant cracked and said that expenditure of a wife, by a wife, and for a wife should be treated as a revenue expenditure and should never be treated as a deferred revenue expenditure. He was given a great ovation that the stand of the desert flew in the eyes of the chairman, who was seen wiping his eyes. Then the participants broke for a lunch. Between the lunch and tea, there was only two speakers who explained the myth of wife as an asset with the latest technique of CPM and PERT, critical purse method, and partners' expense reviewing techniques. Both conclusively proved that after marriage, the man would have even not a single piece, PIEC, peace of mind to cling to. Ultimately, women accountant come into picture, and they took charge of the session after tea. They pointed out to the men accountants that in their ill-gotten joy of being away from their wives, forgot the fact that in whatever side of the balance sheet the wife was put, the husband should be on the opposite side. In other words, the husband should be equal to wife and vice versa. Unfortunately, the declared they declared amongst feeble applause that such balance sheet prepared by their husband never tallied. Thank you very much for the patient hearing.
Thank you so much, CA Kaushik Patel sir, for sharing your expertise and knowledge with all of us. Your invaluable insights will surely benefit myriad of us.
Now, I would like to request CA Sunil Sanghvi sir and CA Rinkesh Shah sir to kindly escort our jury for the session, CA Gyan Pipara sir and CA Ravi Jain sir.
Now, I would like to request CA Rinkesh Shah sir, CA Sunil Sanghvi sir, Abhinav Malia sir and Krish to felicitate our jury for this session.
Good afternoon, everyone. All the three speeches were good. I think we have judged based on different criteria. So I think some of them had good content, but I think delivery was a little bit missing. So they might have scored less on that. So some of them, I would say, I think have practiced less. So I think content, if could be delivered better, I think it could have made a lot of more impact, because I think presentation were very good. It may be a time constraint, the institute may not be giving you full time to present it nicely, but what I would say that better practice could give better knowledge to the students. So I think the first and third presentation were on the basis of the accounting standards and how it impacts the global valuations and all those things. So I think they were good subject to understand. When you become a CA, it would be required. And outsource and offshore, I think one more subject like near shore, everything has to be understood very well to take your business when you become future CA to the next level. Thank you.
Now I request all the members present on the dais to please come forward for a group photograph.
Dear students, my friends, I know many of you would be hurrying to leave the hall, but my applause to all those who are sitting right now, and would request that you all call your friends. We have a very special session on motivation. The last session, which has been designed specially to motivate you, to guide you, so that you conquer the new heights with great ease. So requesting all to please settle down, and request your friends also to come back to the hall, so that there is due justice to the speaker of the next session. The organizers during these 2-3 months have put in a lot of effort to design, to organize, to materialize this nice international conference, and it's your time, devotion and involvement which has played a pivotal role in making this conference a huge success. So requesting all to please be settled down, be quiet, be focused, and requesting all to please request your friends to come back to the hall, so that we have a last session and we end this international conference on a high note. Thank you so much.